Yo, what the hell is that? They will be doing a showcase for another Elemental Shiny and Shogun. Probably the coolest kit in the game for me personally. It's very well made and the effects give me a nostalgic feeling, mostly from the dead and old game Alchemy Online, where there were these electricity effects which I enjoyed. Also, a very cool thing about Shogun is that you can change its moveset based on what race you are using. Yeah, if you are using Oni, your last two moves get replaced with different and better ones. The moveset for this element is pretty interesting, as it uses moves that were heavily inspired by Demon Slayer. I think there are at least two moves that were heavily inspired by it. If you watch that show, then you can clearly recognize the inspiration, but the owner clearly did the moves justice with making this a fun kit to play with. Shogun is a close range kit that is made to fight other close range elements. That's pretty much the theme for all Elemental Shinies. They're really good close range, but if an enemy starts running or stalling, then you will just get destroyed. And if all these weren't enough, Shogun has one move that is insanely good for grinding, which I'll show when I will start showing off the moves. Also, this is one of the rare elements that does bleed damage. So with some moves already doing good damage, plus a few seconds of bleeding, will deal a lot of damage to your enemies, those worthless fools. I think I already reached the word count to head to the move showcase. First will be the weapon for this kit, and it's a red katana with red lightning effects. The effects on the katana become bigger and more prominent as more Bloodless you gain. It's personally a really cool design for the katana, but unfortunately it's not better for damage than fists, which is weird, and I expect it to do some bleed damage. At least it happened at the last chain and won, but it is what it is. I also believe that this has a bit longer and one range than default fists. Alrighty, for the first move and probably the best move for PvP will be Lion Slash. This move is legit doing a fiery looking 360-degree slash around you, fooling anyone in the attack. This attack does 624 damage, but also does bleed damage. So 4 times 60 we got 864 damage, which is pretty damn good. This move maybe doesn't have very good horizontal range, but it somehow has good vertical range, so you can catch the bird sliding sometimes. Also, this move has a 16-second cooldown. It's not good, but also not bad, just a bit cooldown. This is one of the two moves that were inspirations from Demon Slayer. I will try to find a scene from which this was taken. The second move is one of the best PvP abilities, and it's called Nedashiko Field, with a 23-second cooldown. This ability legit lets you create a large zone in which anything that enters will get decimated. With at max stats you do 83 damage per tick, and you can hold this zone for like 20 seconds or something. With this you are able to do lots and lots of damage. This isn't the best for PvP because the enemy will see this appear and will get out as fast as humanly possible. But NPCs will stay inside and take full brunt of the damage. And once you start the field, you can't move, but nobody can also stop the field until you do it yourself or the duration ends. This is the best to grind strong souls because one field can kill a strong soul. I'ma give a bit of advice. At one time there can spawn max 2 strong souls, so try to get aggro to kill both souls at the same time. This is the most efficient way to grind strong souls. Next move will be Raijin Slash. This is legit one of those anime katana flare strike moves, and this is the second Demon Slayer inspired move in the kit, and probably one of the most skill based moves in the game. You really need good aim to hit this reliably, as it is an instant teleport, and it starts pretty abruptly, so you must try to hold the move a bit and then aim and not instantly let it go. This attack can also be used as a traveling ability because it's actually a pretty low damage ability and it's pretty hard to hit. But it has bleed damage and does around 620 damage with it, but can't feel it should do more damage than Lion Slash because of the increased difficulty of landing the attack. Also, this is the only other move that does bleed damage in the kit, Lion Slash, unfortunately, but it's not like the other moves are bad. So now we can head on to the non-ONI version of the Bloodless moves, and the first will be Getsui Heart. This is a mode that when activated drains your Bloodless bar, but in exchange giving you a speed boost. This mode has an interesting design, with you leaving after images when the mode is activated, and the heart on your character being highlighted. When you zoom in, you can clearly see that it's a moon showing instead of your actual heart. Let me be straight, the only things that this mode gives you is a speed boost and allowing you to use the other move, and that's legit it. It's kinda underwhelming, but nothing can be done besides waiting for a well-deserved buff. Now for the last normal Shogun move, this will be Getsui Cut. You can only use this move when you have Getsui Heart activate, so always remember that. This move legit turns you into a whirlwind of slashes that moves you forward, with only thing that is observable is your highlighted heart. This ability also does tick damage, and with all the hits combined, the damage should do around 750. So if you somehow hit everything, then you're in a good place. Also, the cooldown for this attack is like non-existent, so you can spam it until you run out of Bloodless. Now, I will try to explain a bit how Shogun synergizes with ONI. First of all, you are now able to passively gain Bloodless by just standing to players or hittable NPCs, and once you reach max Bloodless without dealing damage, you gain true ONI form. Of course, you can follow it as an indicator, but it's not always correct, which is unfortunate. But when you are playing with ONI, you get two more useful moves instead of the non-ONI version, with them being Kage Rakiri and Tasagara Pierce. Now, let's first start with Kage Rakiri. This move is pretty interesting. It works like a stun that pretty much stuns both you and your enemy, if it can be even called a stun. The target will not be able to walk or use moves, but will be able to dash and jump around, and once this stare down is over, the fight continues. The move is useful to confuse your enemy mostly because they won't understand what the hell happened, and you might be able to get close enough to start the M1 combo and just get a lot of damage in. The last move this kid has is Tasogara Pierce. This is like a close range snipe ability, which is a weird way to call it, but it fits. It's legit a red beam that you release from your katana. It also does a pretty funny amount of knockback, like it flings enemies hella far that get hit by this weird ass move. Alright, this move does 624 damage and has a pretty long cooldown of, I couldn't say that shit at all. Alright, 23 seconds of cooldown. This move is the definition of mid, but at least it's reliable and is easier to hit than Raijin Slash, which is another story. That's pretty much it for Shogun, and now I will give you the PvP fights for this thing. I will continue making these showcases, so I would like to ask you to support me by subscribing and liking the video. Now, let the fight start.